Hi, my name is Chet here from Avion Technology in the Chicagoland area. We are a digital agency based out of the Chicagoland area. We work in three areas, four areas rather. The first is we help to build MVPs, so products. The second area that we work in is we help small digital agencies who do about 250,000, 300,000 worth of revenue scale up and become $1 million digital agencies. The third area that we work in is digital marketing for local small businesses. And the fourth area that we work in is digital transformation and ERP and Salesforce. So today I'm going to talk about something which kind of um, is relevant for all four of these, which is how do you choose the right development company? I've been doing this for the last 20 years. So I kind of started back in 2004, 2005, and I think those were like the heydays. I came into this from the offshoring outsourcing world, and I think those were like the heydays of outsourcing offshoring. I remember I used to work in biz dev at that time for a software company, and all the leads were incoming inbound. We used to get phone calls. We used to talk to client, have a discovery call like real time. Like the client used to call us, just pick up the phone. We used to, right then and there we used to do a discovery call, and the call used to end with the client saying, you know what, price sounds good, just send me the proposal and let's get started from tomorrow. So it was a seller's market back then. Today, 20 years hence, the world has changed. Offshoring, outsourcing has become insanely competitive. There's so many companies out there, and even if you're not offshoring, outsourcing, but even if you're working local, they have different set of challenges. But it has become a very competitive market. So today's video is how do you choose the right development company. So one of the areas that we here at Avion kind of specialize in is actually picking up the ball on projects that have kind of been uh, forsaken by other development companies, right? So every so often we'll get a call it's a SOS call from a potential client who says, I was working with an Indian company, or I was working with a local company, and they've suddenly disappeared, or they're not communicating well, or they've taken 3 payments of mine for a 4 milestone project, and suddenly they've gone, and I don't know what to do. So that kind of got me thinking, and that's the reason why I did today's video. How do you choose the right development company? So first of all, there are two sides of the story, right? The first is you get a lot of clients who kind of go with what I call the cheapest price option. So they do a software project the way you would purchase tickets, right, on Expedia. So they will go out there and they'll go with the lowest bid, right? And to me, a lot of times that doesn't make sense, because the cheapest option is not always the best option. There have been so many horror stories in outsourcing where um, they gave the project to the cheapest bidder only to find out that he took the first payment and they never heard back from him, right? The second option is what I call a personal bias, right? So a lot of times, because we've heard all these horrible stories about how the digital kind of landscape operates, so you go in with a personal bias. You say, I want a local developer, I want a local dev team. But a lot of times the local dev teams, they're short-staffed, right? Here in Chicago, there's such a huge shortage of actual like programming talent. I'm not talking project managers. But there's so many people in technology who do not know how to do hands-on development. But in terms of actual hands-on development and folks who can actually develop and deliver, there's a massive shortage of those in Chicago. So really, how do you find the right balance and how do you find the right mix? So I have come up with what I call the doctor's approach, right? If you were to do a knee replacement, or let's say if your mom needs to do a knee replacement, right? You would not go out there and like get someone for the lowest bid, right? That's a recipe for disaster. So how would you go about doing it? Well, first of all, you would go to your general practitioner, your family doctor, and ask him for recommendations. He will usually have someone in his network that he will say, okay, go to this doctor. He's an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in knee replacements, right? Then you would go to him, get a consultation, and then you would get a quote, and then you talk to your insurance company, and that's how you would go about doing it. You would check the online reviews for that surgeon, right? But for some reason, we never do that when it comes to software projects. We never go online on Yelp or Google reviews and check out how many reviews does that company have, how many five-star reviews does that company have. We never reach out within our LinkedIn network or within our warm. We all have like this warm network of 50, 100 folks that we work with, and ask them, have you worked with anyone? Have you had a good experience with anyone? And more often than not, you will find someone who will say, you know what, I have found someone. I have worked with someone, and then that's the first point, right? Two other things, which always help. First of all, make sure that there's a discovery process, right? So, like you have a consultation at a doctor's place where you tell them all the symptoms and then the doctor kind of gives a diagnosis. Make sure you go through a discovery process with your dev company, right? And they come back to you with a formal proposal. Number one. Number two, ask them for their portfolio, right? A lot of times you can kind of separate the wheat from the chaff is by looking at their portfolio, right? If they have just one project in their portfolio, or if you're a real estate agent, you're a realtor, you want to do a website with an MLS IDX integration, and they haven't done any of that, then that's a red flag, right? So see their portfolio, see their previous work. Another really good indicator is ask them for their references and speak to the references, right? Everyone's going to always give references where they speak good, but watch out for the hidden nuggets of wisdom in the references. So if all of the references talk about extremely good quality, or all of the references talk about that these guys are very good communicators, it will kind of give you a few patterns about how the relationship will pan out. So that in a nutshell is my wisdom, right? When you're doing offshoring, outsourcing projects, which is, number one, don't go for the cheapest guy out there. Go for someone within your network, or someone that So best, it's always a good idea to go through someone who has been referred to you, right, by someone within your warm network. That's number one. After you get that reference, check out their portfolio, check out their Google reviews, and maybe ask for a couple of references. And then once you do that, make sure you go through an extensive due diligence phase where you scope out the project with them. The benefit of the due diligence phase is that's the first time you're working with them, and that by itself will give you a lot of pointers in terms of how the relationship will pan out. If they're extremely aggressive on that discovery call, maybe that's a red flag. Or if they say that they'll get back to you with the scope of work document in 2 days, and then they forget about it, and then you have to go back to them and remind them that they had promised this. That's a red flag, right? So it's a lot like the first coffee date that you have when you meet someone. You might not get the whole picture, but you get little glimpses into their personality in that coffee date, right? So the due diligence call, the discovery call, is a little bit like that coffee date when you meet someone for the first time, right? You're at a high level, you're trying to get a sense of how that person operates, and if that goes well, then you can get into the project. And one quick thing I want to add here is, at Avion we've completed more than 1,000, 1,200. I think at the last count it was something like 1,300 successful projects over the last 15 years. The software development game, the customized software development game, the app dev game, whatever you want to call it, is a messy business, right? It's someone once said it's like the closest analogy is like having a baby. Fun to conceive, painful to deliver. But I've seen that's usually how it is. The initial stages of a project are always fun. That's when all the brainstorming happens and you have that idea and you see the first mock-ups. But as you get more into it, it's always a messy process. And if you don't have people there who know what they're doing, it tends to get even messier, right? So if your development project is messy right now, that's normal. It gets very frustrating, especially towards the end when all the loose ends are being tied up. It is a very frustrating process. But what makes it even worse is if the people who are in charge don't have a clue of what they're doing, and that kind of makes it even worse. So yeah, these are a couple of pointers. If you have a potential project, or if you want to just have a quick conversation, give us a shout. This is our email, this is our phone number. Love to know more, love to kind of converse with you. Otherwise, it's me here, Chet from Avion Technology, signing out. Thank you so much, and have a super rest of the week. Thank you.